Okay, so like using the natal chart and like these kind of this diagnosis and how you can apply like the type onto it, like each of the 16 MBTI personality types, and you can discern from that area the like another type within your type, like which type you are from that function, and then diagnose issues from within that function from how you connect to that type in that way. So for instance, again, saying like with me being an INTP, then the first house is going to be the first function, the 11th house is going to be the second function. So you would take like, okay, the NE overlays with Pisces, so then you make that its own chart, how they do like divisional charts in Vedic astrology, and I believe Western as well, where you make that into its own chart. And so now I have Pisces rising NE, and that has its own type. So, or from my introverted sensing, it's in Cancer, so you take that and now you have like a Cancer rising, introverted sensing, and then Leo FE, FE Leo rising. So, which is actually what Dolos would be. So, yeah, going back to like the body diagnosis with that, which, for an INTP, they're gonna, go to their introverted sensing because that's what you use to check in with like your, sensations. So, if you have, Cancer there, you're actually going to have an extra bonus, or kind of like a buff when you going to the 4th house to, because, Cancer comes from the, 4th house. When you go towards, using that 4th house to nurture that issue. So, which naturally, it's going to be in NE of some form because that's how it always, works out. So, and there's a few different directions you can go with this. So you could look at, okay, that's where my, south node is. And look at that. And, it also goes back to, me realizing that I need to get like that nurturing space, to start in. Whereas someone else might have a different sign there, and there might be a different method for them tapping into it, or there would be, at least different in some minute way. So, but yeah, though. So yeah, to finalize this, going back to like the skill tree, it's like, there would, it kind of makes the like lines between like the certain types and everything kind of, more fluid, like where you're not just an INTP. It's like now you can, gain the skills of that type once you figure out what it is, how you connect to that function, and then you can figure out like how you can adapt and have the skills of that type from who you are. So, yeah, like, and as a type 5, you want to grow towards a type 8, and any type can be a type 8, but just, it makes the most sense to me to look towards SE, or extroverted sensing, to work on that. But I'm not saying, like, you have to be, like, I'm not saying you have to use, like, SE to be a type 8, but in terms of thinking about, like, the skill tree and all that, like, the abilities that you might gain, and, like, you know, the power that you would obtain as, like, a type 8, or just maybe some bias towards some personal preference of the type of type 8 characteristics that I think, you know, I'd like to learn, or, you know, just seem appealing for it, or seem like the path that I should go on. Because just as well, it's my path of least resistance function, so, you know, why pick something that's more difficult to go towards my line of growth, right? So, so then, you know, for that, I'd have Aries extroverted sensing, and then that would be, you know, an Aries rising chart with SE as the start of it, which is either going to be an ESFP or ESTP. I still honestly need to dissect exactly which one, but, you know, if it was an ESTP Aries rising, then it would be like kind of going like a Bruce Lee route, and if it was like an ESFP Aries rising, it would be going like a Goku route. So, which, you know, from how much I resonate with Goku, it seems like it's most likely going to be ESFP. But yeah, and also, even though I think, also I want to mention too, even since, like just because the 7th house or the 8th function, like, is like the house of relationships, that doesn't mean that the type that would be like the other side of you necessarily is the one that would fit the most in this context, because, but it may be like one, like, kind of close or similar to that, because, for instance, I don't think that I don't think that people would really be compatible with, I don't even want to put that limitation, but, you know, I wouldn't prefer, I don't think, maybe if I met them, something different, but I think, you know, like I keep saying, it should be an ESTP, but in this sense, it would be, in this case, it would be an ISFP. And it would be a Scorpio rising, like, introverted feeling, which is what I have, and that would create that thing. But yeah, that's, could be a whole video by itself, and most likely will be. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. You know, thank you for listening. I hope you have a good day. You know, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.